are you burying your gift? What the parable of the talent teaches us about stewardship, wealth, and responsibility. Now, let's dive into it. You know the story, right? The master gives his servants talents, money, right? To one, he gives five, to another, he gives two, to another, one. Then he leaves. The servant with 5 talents goes out and makes 5 more. The servant with two, he makes 2 more. But the servant with 1 talent, he buries it. He's afraid, he overthinks, and that he doesn't want to mess up. So he plays it safe. And when the master comes back, here's what happens. The servant with 5 talents has 10. The master is pleased. He doubled it. Well done, good and faithful servant. The servant with 2 talents has 4. He also doubled it. The master is equally pleased. Well done. But the servant with 1 talent, he brings back the 1 talent unchanged. And he says, Master, I was afraid. You are a hard man, so I buried it in the ground to keep it safe. And the master's response is devastating. You wicked, lazy servant. You should have put money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest, right? Then take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10. For whoever will be giving more, whoever has will be giving more, and they would have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken away from them. Right. That is really, really sad. If you've not hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. This parable is not about money. It's about what happens when you bury your gift, when you don't multiply it, when you let fear stop you, when you overthink instead of act. And the consequence is devastating, not just for you, but for everyone you could have served. Now, let's look at the lie underneath burying your gift. We really need to uncover these eyes. I want the scales to fall off your eyes. Most Christian women who bury their gift don't think they are being irresponsible. They actually think they are playing it safe. And a lot of Christian women are in this category right now, and I'm here to call you out. They think, I'll just keep my gift to myself. I won't risk losing it. Because that's the lie that's keeping your gift to yourself. Because the lie of keeping your gift to yourself is actually going to end up, cost you the gift. You're going to lose it because that's what happened to the talent who didn't use the gift. It was taken away from him. Right. The parable shows this clearly. The servant who buried it, he didn't lose it. He had it, but he gained nothing. He didn't just lose it. He gained nothing and he lost everything. He lost the master's favor. He lost his position. He lost his reward. He lost his authority. And even the 1 talent taken from him. So he lost everything. And that's what fear costed him. Everything, the future. He could have doubled it and ended up with 2 talents, but he ended up with zero. He lost everything, favor, position, reward, everything because of fear. Now, let's talk about what burying your gift looks like today in the modern world, right? The gifted teacher who won't teach, she has the ability to transform people. She has knowledge. She has a gift for giving wisdom in depth, right? But she doesn't charge. She doesn't offer. And she doesn't market. Why? She's afraid of judgment, afraid of failure, afraid of seeming greedy, being ambitious, being a high achiever and flyer, wanting more. So she buries her gifts. She keeps it to herself, and the people who could have been transformed by her never find her. Never find her. Now, how does it look like again? The coach who wouldn't scale. She has a methodology that's brilliant, that works. Her clients get amazing results, but she only works one-on-one. She's maxed out. Right. She could create a course, she could build a group program, she could leverage her gifts, but she doesn't. Why? She overthinks it. She's like, is it ethical to charge for a course if people could just hire me? What if the course isn't perfect? What if the course isn't delivering all the value? What if people don't get results? So she stays small. She serves 3 clients personally instead of 300 through systems. She buries her gift through overthinking. Now, the entrepreneur who take the risk. She has an idea, maybe a business, a product, a service. She knows it would work, but she delays. She waits for perfect conditions. She waits for complete certainty. She waits for the fear to go away. Why? She's afraid. Afraid to fail publicly. Afraid of people saying, I told you so. I told you it wasn't going to work. I told you to go and get a job. I'm not saying working a job is bad because I actually talk about remote work. Afraid to invest in herself, right? Afraid that she's not good enough. So she waits and years pass by and she never builds. And the people who needed her solution, they never get it. She buried her gift through fear and delay. The woman with a message but no platform. She has wisdom, she has lived experience, she has truth to share, but she's not visible. She doesn't create content, she doesn't speak, she doesn't build an audience. Why? She's also afraid of judgment. She's afraid of being seen. She's afraid that her message isn't important enough, so she stays silent. The woman who desperately needed to hear her never finds her. She buried her gift through silence. Actually, this is the worst one of all. Staying silent. Staying silent, having expertise, but nobody knows about you because you don't want to put yourself out there. You're afraid. I am shy. I don't like how I look. I don't know what people are going to say about me. Let's talk about the cost of bearing your gift because this is rarely talked about, right? What does it actually cost you? It actually is not a small cost, it's a big cost. First cost is the people you don't serve. When you bury your gifts, you're not just affecting yourself, you're affecting everyone who could have been helped. Think about it. If you were a healer and you bury your gifts, sick people will stay sick and die. If you're a teacher and you bury your gifts, ignorant people will stay ignorant. For lack of knowledge, my people perish. If you are a builder and you bury your gifts, broken things will stay broken. You are responsible for the people you don't serve. Their blood is on your hands. Not because it's your fault they're suffering, but because you had the ability to help and you chose not to because you played small. You stayed invisible. The second cost, the income you don't make. The parable shows this clearly. The servant who buried his talent didn't gain anything, but the servants who multiplied their talent doubled their wealth. So the cost of burying your gifts is all the income you could have made, all the years you could have been wealthy, all the financial security you could have created to push forward the agenda of the kingdom. You're on earth to please God and serve others. Now let's do the math. If you're a coach worth 5K per client and you could serve 10 clients a year one, 50K, year five, 250K, year 10, $500,000, right? But if you're afraid and you only serve two clients a year, that's year one, 10K, year five, 50K, year 10, 100K. The cost of your fear, 400K over 10 years. That's how much your fear is costing you, 400K. And that's money you could have made to support churches, missions, hospitals, but you didn't. You played small. What else does it cost you? The legacy you don't build. Wealth isn't just about money. Legacy is building something that lasts, something that multiplies, something that creates opportunities for others. If you bury your gifts, you don't build anything. You don't create a legacy. Your children don't inherit a business. They don't inherit an example of courage. They don't inherit an example of faith, wisdom. They inherit your fears. They inherit your limiting beliefs. They inherit your small thinking. And guess what? You are passing down to your first, second, third generations because that's what they've seen. That's how heavy this cost is. It comes with a huge price tag. The fourth one is the master's favor. You lose it. In the parable of the talent, the servant who buried his talent lost the master's favor. He went from being a trusted servant to being called wicked and lazy. He lost authority, he lost position, he lost reward. So when we think about God's favor, God wants you to multiply your gift, not bury it. He wants you to build, not hide. He wants you to take risk, not play it safe. And when you bury your gifts out of fear, you're rejecting his assignment. You're saying, I don't trust you. I'm going to keep this safe instead of multiplying it. That costs you God's favor. The last cost is the authority you forfeit. The parable says, to whom much is given, much is expected. This isn't about money. It's about authority. When you multiply your gift, you gain authority. You become someone people listen to. You become someone people follow. You become someone who has influence. When you bury your gift, you lose the authority. You now become the mouthpiece to influence people for the kingdom of God. You become a kingdom ambassador, leading people to Christ through your influence. But When you bury your gifts, you become invisible. No one knows you exist. No one follows you, and no one gives you a platform. You forfeit all the authority you could have to have built a kingdom. You could have built to be a kingdom wealth ambassador. Now, let's talk about why fear makes you bury your gift, right? The servant in the parable said, Master was afraid. That's the root cause, fear. But what is he afraid of? He says, You're a hard man. You harvest where you have not sown, and you gather where you have not scattered seed. In other words, he's afraid the master is strict. He's afraid of being punished if he fails. So he plays it safe. He buries the talent. At least then he cannot fail, right? Instead, instead of him to overcome his fear and overthinking, he made the master his problem. He focused on his perception of the master. He perceived his master to be a hard man, as someone who has sown and gathered where he has not planted. And he used energy to dig a pit and bury it. He could have used that same energy to go to the bank to invest it and double it. All of them had seed in their hands. The first one had 5 and multiplied it to 10. The second one had 2 and multiplied it into 4. So it means it doesn't matter how much, what the quantity is. You can still faithfully steward it and multiply it and be wealthy. But fear, delay, overthinking is what is holding a lot of people back, right? So here's what's interesting. His fear causes exactly what he's afraid of. He's afraid of the master's judgment, so he buries the talent. And the master's response is harsh judgment. The master calls him wicked and lazy. The master takes away the talent. The master removes him from his position. The very thing he feared is exactly what happened, right? He might as well have done the opposite so that his fear wouldn't come to pass. But he did exactly what he feared by letting fear lead him. And this is what happens when you bury your gifts. You're afraid of failure, so you don't try and you fail anyways. You're afraid of judgment, so you hide and you get charged anyways. And you'll be judged as someone who is a coward and who is lazy. You're afraid of losing what you have, so you don't risk it and you lose it anyway. Fear doesn't protect you, it destroys you. Fear doesn't protect you, it destroys you. I repeat, fear does not protect you, it destroys you. The difference between burying and building. The parable shows two kinds of servants. The one who multiplies makes 5 more, and the one who had 2 makes 2 more, right? The one who buries keeps it the same. What's the difference? It's not intelligence. The servants with 1 talent might as well be smart. It's not opportunity. They all had the same opportunity. It's courage. That's what the 2 had that the last um the last servant didn't have. Sorry, right? They had courage. The servants who multiplied it had the courage to risk, the courage to risk. And the servant who buried it didn't. That was a huge difference, right? So my question to you is, do you have the courage to multiply your gift or are you trying to bury it? Because there's no middle ground here. You either build or you forfeit. You either take the risk or you face the consequences. You either hide or you multiply. You either sell or be sold to. You either pray or be prayed on. I can go on and on, right? So this is what multiplying your gift looks like. Multiplying your gift doesn't mean you have to be perfect, right? Look at the servants again. The one with 5 talents made 5 more. That was 100% return. The one with 2 talents made 2 more. That was 100% return. Same rate, but different absolute amounts. And the master was pleased with them. Well done, good and faithful servant. He didn't say, well done, good and most authentic servant. Well done, good and perfect servant. Well done, most influencer of the year. Well done, high achieving servant. No, good and faithful. So multiplication doesn't require you to make a fortune. It requires you to do something with what you've been given. The key word is faithful stewardship. You're going to be hearing a lot of this because that's what I'm all about, right? Multiplying, you can multiply your gift by building a business, right? That does not stay invisible. By creating systems, not staying maxed out. By teaching others, not keeping your knowledge locked up. By taking risk, not playing it safe. By starting imperfectly, not waiting for things to be perfect. or for all your ducks to line up in a row by building publicly, not hiding, by charging fairly, not giving away your value for free, by scaling your impact, not limiting yourself to one, right? The servers didn't wait for the perfect investment opportunity. They just took what they had and multiplied it. You do not need perfect conditions. You need courage. You need courage. So let's give a summary of what you're going to lose if you bury your gift. The people you could have served, the income you could have made, the legacy you could have built, the master's favor, the authority you could have claimed, the example you could have set, years of your life, peace because you are not hiding anymore, fulfillment because for you're not getting fulfillment because you're not using your gifts. You're not getting peace because you're hiding. I had to take that again because that did not sound right. Right. The fullness of what God has designed you to be. And for what? All for what? To feel safe, to be afraid of what people say, to avoid judgment, to not take a risk. It's not worth it. The parable shows that safety costs everything. So that fear, that I'm afraid, it will cost you everything. So I'm asking you again, are you bearing your gifts? Not intentionally, but through fear, through overthinking, through waiting for the perfect conditions, through telling yourself you are protecting your gift by keeping it safe. If you are, here's what I want you to know. God didn't give you your gift to bury it. He gave it to you to multiply it. We are the light of the world, a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. Right? He gave it to you so you can serve others. He gave it to you so you can build kingdom wealth. He gave it to you so you could create a legacy. And when you bury it, you're rejecting his assignment. What if the greatest obstacle to your prosperity isn't a lack of opportunity, but it's a lie you believed? For generations, many Christian women have been taught messages that disconnect their faith from wealth, purpose from profit, and stewardship from abundance. The result, their God-given gifts remain buried. Businesses never get built. Kingdom assignments go unfunded. And women settle for survival when they were called to multiplication. In Call to Prosper, my upcoming book, Doreen challenges the beliefs that keep Christian women financially stuck and introduces the Kingdom Wealth Code, a practical framework for moving from skills to income, income to business, business to kingdom wealth to legacy. This book would help you to identify the lies keeping you from doing what God has called you to build. We do the inner work in you. You will discover the biblical foundations for kingdom wealth, recognize and monetize your God-given gifts, and build income in the business through stewardship. Leave a legacy that impacts future generations. You were not called to bury your gift. You were called to prosper. So if you want to join the wait list, I'm going to leave the link in the show notes so you can join the wait list so you will know when the book is ready. If you have not hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button to learn more about how to stop burying your gifts and faithfully steward it to build a profitable business that brings kingdom impact, wealth, and legacy. See you on the next video. Stay blessed.